when I say the brand, me, what I stand for is different. Like I
Mm,
really mean it, right? First aspect was Africa, right? So I went back to Africa when I was 14 years old to visit my grandmother. So in the midst of that, it was a bad timing that I went. There was a lot of wars and everything going. I was stopped three different times and put and got an
mm,
AK-47 to my head,
Mm.
put to my head. So I looked down the barrel of an AK-47 three different times at the age of 14 years old,
wow.
right? So when I came back to Canada, I escaped out. I paid them off, and the bus
Mm,
driver paid them off. When I came back to Canada, I was like, "Yo, if I'm still
mm,
alive, it's for a reason." That was the first aspect of it. Second was never in my life have I done any drugs, any type of drugs. Never smoked cigarette, never smoked weed, never drank in my life. The reason for that is I'm not doing anything that's gonna distract me or put me in a different path than success
I
and
really don't
happiness.
like drugs for a lot of reasons. It ain't even really just personal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because I think that a lot of
Right.
people use drugs, like especially like weed, drugs that take it.
To cope with
Yes,
Yeah.
things
yes,
and to run
exactly.
out of things,
Like
run
Escaping
escape.
your
away.
problems.
Right.
We were talking about this yesterday.
Right.
Like people use drugs to escape their problems, that the issues that they have deep down, because it's comfortable. They don't want to. They don't want to actually sit down and be like, okay, I got to think about everything that hurt, all
Right.
the
And it's
problems that may be happening within me or outside
right.
of my life. They don't want to think about that, so they'll use
Right.
drugs because it takes them away from themselves. And
Right. And it's even more painful when family and friends around you have a bad
mm,
addiction to it. It gives you a different understanding because you're like, yo, this person was
mm,
just normal yesterday. He was talking to me today. He might be fighting.
mm,
He might be arrested. So the second part of it was um just the phase of not going through the regular. Like to the point we think that drugs and that type of
mm,
lifestyle is regular. Like we're supposed to go through it. Nah, it's just society
yeah.
made us feel like that. So I didn't want anything to bother me. And the third phase was my children, getting them right, getting myself right. So when they do come into life, I'm speaking greatness into them. I'm not giving them generational
Mm,
curses and everything, right? And that's why quarantine, actually talking about what you were talking about, that's why quarantine is so powerful right now. And I really think the universe did that for
definitely.
a reason, right? Jalil, we can only run away from our thoughts and our feelings for so
Right.
long. When jobs are open, when clubs are open, when friends are open, when all these are open, we have excuses to run away from our thoughts and being alone with
Mm,
our mind, right? But now that we're stuck at home, you have nothing but 24 hours of thinking and repairing and rewiring yourself. So I think quarantine is very, very needed. It's not only cleansing our mind and our body, but it's
so
also
Jalil,
cleansing
before
the
I
earth.
talk, do you got anything to say, real quick?
Yeah. So I wanted to leave a quote on here for people just to think about, for people just to ponder on. And it's something that people have heard before, but I'm going to say it a little differently because I want it to hit differently. And it simply says, if you keep doing what you're doing today, you're going to keep getting what you were getting yesterday tomorrow.
Mm,
And it simply just means that it's not until you get to that point where you shift into that next version of yourself. I believe that we get to a place where the version that we're at or we're on is expiring. And once it gets expired, it's no more good.
mm.
And
You
then
can't go back to it.
and when you are still operating in that realm, the results don't follow. So you can
Mm,
be trying and trying and trying and not hitting on, or landing on anything because you're in the wrong season. Now I know that we know about the seasons of the earth, but for our spiritual folks, we hear, it's my season, it's my time, it's my turn. Well, the
mm,
worst thing that you want to do is be in a certain season, but not know that you're in that season. It's the time for everything. It's the
Right.
time to rest. It's the time to grind. You don't want to miss your season of
mm.
thinking that this is your time of grinding and you're
When it's really
resting
time to rest.
and
Oh
you're
yeah.
and you're missing it. Or this is your
Mm,
time of rest and you're grinding, trying to do everything that you feel, and it's not working out because you're in the wrong season. So
mm,
when you can tap into a maturity from everything that you went through and become aligned and in tune and have discernment as to, okay, this is the season that I am, and I'm going to match it. And that's when the universe will respond accordingly. That's when my life shifted, because I was going against the currency of my season, because I didn't know. I was just taught, okay, grind, do this, however long it takes. And it wasn't until I shifted my mindset that my results started to flow. And then now I'm able to coach and teach and train other people through that.
Definitely. So I wanna get on that real quick. My bad, Zach. But
I know
so
it.
yeah, I wanted to get on what you were saying, Zach, and then you, Jalil. So yeah, my teacher we had to ask, she asked us a question. Do you think that the pandemic is a blessing in disguise or not? I said yes, and I've been saying this to everyone because, like you said, people use external things to as an excuse for not taking care of themselves, not working out, not meditating, not taking care of themselves, looking into themselves, saying, if am I good? Is there anything that I need to work on? They have all these excuses externally, but now everything is closed down. You can't go anywhere. You're in the house now, and you really have no other choice. You really have no excuse to come out of this a better person, and to just become a better person. This gives everyone a chance to just slow down and just be like, okay, I'm in the moment now. I don't have to do too much working, or I don't have to do too much outside things. I can really just chill and just, work on myself. And then to what you were saying, Jalil, it kind of goes with what I was thinking about. People trying to do things that they're really not. People trying to be people that they're really not. We live in a very fake world where people will try to be the next man instead of being themselves because it's the norm. It's what will get you approval. I don't like approval because I don't feel fulfilled. I feel fulfilled when I be myself. I don't look at the short term gratification anymore too much. I try to look at the long term fulfillment that I'll feel for being myself and doing what I really want to do.
So I have a topic to bring up for you guys, and through this conversation, we've been talking about energy and frequency, right? Um, there's a 528 hertz frequency. Have you guys heard of
Yes.
it by any
I go to
chance?
sleep to it sometimes. I gotta show you about the
All right,
frequencies, man.
so yeah, no, you definitely have to show him. So it's called a love
Okay.
frequency, right? A healing frequency, and basically what it is it has a deep rooted relationship with nature. It repairs the DNA and basically removes impurities from the cells, right? In a shorter sense, in a shorter story, basically it rewires all your frequencies in your body and makes them clean and pure. How that happens is, remember earlier we were talking about there's seasons and time to
Yes.
rest and time to grind and everything, right? We're rushing so much on this side of the world and we have so much technology around us that it's killing us on the inside. So 528 is actually a frequency that's within us 24/7. So me and Justin listen to it on YouTube to go to sleep and everything with, but it's actually something that God put in us to heal us all the time, even if we don't know it. So the fact that we have street lights, the fact that we have these towers, the fact that we're always rushing cars, radio, phones, computers, all this stuff around us is making
Sick
us
and stuff like that.
not feel the right and not feel that frequency. So if you ever hear like a zzz, like in your nose and it kind of seems like a fly or something, it's actually that
So
frequency is doing what it's
that just made
supposed
me
to do.
think. So I be hearing like buzzing noise and like just like some random just like. And I always wonder like what is that?
That's the body doing what it's supposed to do, and that's how much power is within us. Like we don't need the outer. So there's two things that I say. All is well when the mind is well. That's my number one thing. And the second one is the outer can only be what the inner allows. So what you see on the outside, if it's negativity, blood, shootings, drugs, that's what the inner is aligned with. If your inner is aligned with everything that you're supposed to be aligned with, from love to positivity to success, you're going to be by the ocean you're going to be looking at life differently. Even if you're in the hood, you don't see
Yeah.
the hood. You see the purity of people. You see the kids. You see different things. So the 528 is something that works 24/7, but you make it work even more when you're aligned with it. So the more you feel good, the more you're aligning yourself with happiness and purity and positivity, it glows
Mm.
you even more. So Justin, what you are hearing, or that like you question it, but it's something that we have to question because we don't even have the opportunity to hear it
Mm-hmm.
anymore. So it kind of feels like a feeling that isn't supposed to be there. Like it's there 24/7, but the fact that we're not exposed to it, we'll always question it. So the more closer you are to nature, the more closer you are to the outskirts of the city, you feel it a lot more, that it's working, that you understand it a lot more than the people in the
Okay,
city.
so I want to talk about two things real quick. It's divide and conquer, and matter of fact, I'm gonna just talk about divide and conquer and how it relates to like the technology and the fast-paced world. I'm not even gonna get into the political aspect of it because I believe that's what's going on right now. We need to first
Yeah.
off, we need to be in union to really,
Yeah.
because we are all connected. By the universe, we're all connected. We all are one, and we got to become
Right.
in union for us to really prosper all together. We're a divided
Right.
nation. Everyone's on their phones. Everyone's,
Yeah.
right now. I can't even imagine how divided we're gonna be once we're out of this. We're already divided now, but just imagine how divided we're gonna be after this. Nobody's gonna wanna talk to anybody or touch anybody. It's gonna just be, really like just weird. Like it's gonna be awkward. And
Right.
divide and conquer is basically you divide. You
The
divide the
people.
people, and they're dividing us by
Right.
the fear, the news, the virus. They've been dividing us. They've been dividing Black people since we came here. Like they've been
Right.
like we got
Right.
separated from what we truly believe. Or we got separated from our ancestors. We got separated from our families, and I would obviously it destroyed us. It literally destroyed the black race, the African race for like nearly forever.
Right. Yo, Justin, after you finish, I have something to say about it. And this is something very, very, very powerful, right? Perspective is everything. And then I'm gonna let
Mm.
Jalil talk.
So yeah, go ahead.
Our Yeah, go ahead, finish. Sorry,
So
sorry.
yeah,
Go ahead,
I'm
finish.
gonna just go with what you were saying. So yeah, perspective is everything. I'm a firm believer that you can create your own reality. And me and Jalil were
Right.
talking about this yesterday. So you may see the same thing. Like I may see a white car stand like literally in front of me. I may
Right.
see a white car, or I may see the devil or whatever. This is just like an analogy.
Right.
I might see something as bad, but you may think it's good. I may see something as good, you may think it's something bad. It's all a matter
Right.
of, what I'm saying, creating your own reality within, so that the external is what the reality, what your internal wants it to be. Like I don't even look at
Right.
like if I don't get a sale or something like that for a time being, or I don't get this deal or whatever. I don't look at it as a bad thing. I just look at it as like, okay,
It's not meant
yeah,
to
it's
be at the
not meant to
moment.
be. It's either not meant to be in a moment,
Right.
or it's not meant to be at all. I'm my father always tells me this. It is what it is, and I've
Right.
internalized that because it really is what it is. You can control a lot of things. You can only control the internal. You can't control the external. You can only
Right.
control the internal.
Mm.
Right. Yo, I have a couple of things to say about that. So, um, let me one of the last ones, controlling, right?
Mm,
So my thing about that is, why do we see, right, the things that don't work for
Mm.
us? Perspective is everything, right? We see the things that don't work for us, but we tend to forget how much God is protecting us
Mm.
from.
mm,
Like, like this door might not open, this person might not work out, this plan might not work out, this business plan or this flight might not work out. What if that was your death call? What if God protected you from something that was gonna
mm,
happen, that's miserable in your life, right? And also, you said divide and conquer and about phones and everything,
mm,
right? Yes, we are to a certain extent, but it's always been like that to a certain
mm.
extent also. And let me explain. There's a picture in the 80s, I think it was in the 80s, of a full bus, right? A
Oh,
full bus.
yeah,
None of
I've seen it. Go ahead.
Right. So none of them were
Uh,
talking, all of them were reading
mm,
newspapers. So it's always been like that. It's always gonna be like that. But what I say about people and being divided is we're divided because we didn't find
Mm,
ourselves. We're not aligned with
mm,
ourselves. So if us three come right now, right, and one of us is not aligned with us, it ruins that
Mm.
mm,
party. So one bad apple ruins the whole situation. So everyone wants to, that's why gangs and groups and governments and police, all this stuff is coming
to
together
divide
because
us,
people never want to be right. And also
right?
people don't want to be alone.
Mm,
Mm.
You gotta align
mm,
yourself, right? We say a lot find, but when you're finding something is when it's lost.
mm,
You're not lost. Everything you need is within you. You just gotta align.
mm.
So find is the wrong word. When you lose your keys and you try to find it, what happens? You can never find it. So if we keep telling ourselves we gotta find ourselves, we'll never find ourselves because we're not lost in the first
Yeah,
place. That's you putting a low faith on God and everything. So we just gotta align ourselves. And I say that until we do that ourselves, until we tap in, until we align ourselves and want the best for ourselves and work on ourselves by ourselves, then we can't come into a group and be as strong as we need to be. Because you're always gonna be as powerful as your lowest common
Yes.
denominator.
mm,
So Jalil,
Thank
go
you.
ahead, my
So
brother.
for me, I really want to go in just for a few moments and just speak like from the heart because I really want to touch our viewers. And it's like a lot of people get good at saying phrases and regurgitating things that they hear or different things that they read or
mm,
that they can experience. But a lot of times it's like people need to know, okay, well, how can I make it through this dark situation? When we speak of different things like God is protecting us, like what if he was protecting you from something that was going to take you out? Well, what does that mean? Like, how do I understand that?
Right.
And so I wanted to give an example of what I went through just last year. So I went through a situation where someone tried to take my house away from me through a legal battle, and I was like 20,000 in the rear that I needed to come up with, and I had did my taxes, and I knew I needed that money to to handle the situation. Otherwise, I probably was going to get evicted.
Right.
But I could just feel that it's time for my gift to come forth. A lot of times we sit on something that is going to be the thing that's going to propel us to the next level. A lot of times it's a room that's in our gift. It's money that's in our gift. We were created to solve a problem, and when you find the problem that you were created to solve,
Mm.
then it expels resources in the realm for you to receive it. Then wealth is there, because now you
mm,
you, you find the problem and your gifts that God allows you to have, the different things that you're great at. That's what you'll use to execute it. And so when it came to my situation,
Mm.
the taxes got delayed. The taxes got delayed, so I didn't have the money
mm,
for the house. But God said, let your gift come forth. So then I started a coaching business and I had to get clients and I didn't know what I was doing and I had to do this. And make a long story short, I came up with the money and I'm still in that house. But then 3 months from there, I got fired from my job.
mm,
But see, I didn't know that though.
Mm.
And when I got fired from my job, then the tax money came. So I didn't have a deficiency,
Wow.
but I didn't know that in three
mm.
months. But had I used the money from the taxes I would have been
You would
stuck,
have been
and
stuck.
now
You
I
would have been
wouldn't be
stuck.
flowing in my gift. I wouldn't have
Wow.
had the confidence, and
Right.
what I'm doing now. So
Right.
it's really important, just like what you said, and I appreciate everybody being on the call because iron does sharpen iron, and I'm learning something from
Right.
knowledge. But it's like I'm able to
Right.
be a sponge in the situation and lead and then follow. Because we're all leaders, but every leader knows how
Right.
to follow when it's applicable, when he needs to. And so that's just the great part about
Right.
what we're doing. It's just like, look, we're not sitting
Mm,
on our gifts. We have a message and people need to hear it. And even if it just changes one person, the Bible says one can chase 1,000 and two can chase 10,000.
mm,
So if one person's mindset can be shifted from our
Right.
podcast, then it might encourage them to get up off their gift to do something else that
mm,
will encourage somebody else. because we never know the true definition of why we're doing a thing. We could think it's coming from one way, but it's really coming from another. The last thing I'm going to say is, through this pandemic, there's been a lot of challenges and a lot of TikToks and different things that people have been doing. So I got to make a challenge for me and my boys. I got 3 boys, 11, 5, and 2. So I made a don't rush challenge where we pretty much were dressed in the regular. Then I threw a brush to my kids and they passed it down the torch. And then we showed ourselves polished up. And so many people responded to that, and it encouraged so many people to want to do it with their children. I had men coming to me and say, "Oh my gosh, man, thank you so much." It's like I was focused on business. Like now, like I really want to pour into my kids. So I was doing it for one thing, just to create memories, but I didn't know how it was going to hit and how it was going to touch, how powerful it was going to be. I got so many DMs, so many comments, and all that. And I'm like, that's what it's about. And I wasn't even trying. I was just being myself. Just releasing what was inside of me.
Right. Now, it's amazing you say that, because even for me as a father, one of the main reasons is because I don't want to continue the generational curses, right? My parents were amazing. They're still together till this day. Beautiful people, but they only know what they know. They were immigrants of the country. They didn't have the opportunities. They did as much as they can, but the tongue wasn't there. The tongue was negative, you know? The tongue was reminding us of everything that happened or everything that couldn't happen. So with all that happening in our life and everything and all that we went through, I'm like, yo, listen, no matter what I have to go through, I'm not letting my kids go through any of this. So as a young father, Amir was the firstborn. I was 24 years old when he was born, right? Young man. But I spoke greatness into him. I spoke highly. From birth till now, like every day we look in the mirror and we say, I am greatness. I am happiness. I love God. I speak that into him so much because by the time he goes to school, no one can tell him what he is. I already told him everything he is. So he's going to question people rather than taking it in and letting it bother him. And I say that to say, sometimes we don't know how or when, but we're not supposed to. Everyone thinks that as soon as you pray or as soon as you ask for guidance, it's supposed to come right away, right? The guidance is in the understanding that it might not come right away, right? But it's going to come exactly when you need it, like Jalil's story. Like if we want it to come tomorrow, what if it does come tomorrow and then the next day you need it more than yesterday? That's what we tend to forget. We don't understand what's coming, but he understands more than we do. So I wanted to take the brand and the business that I've built right now, that I am building right now, is for generational wealth and generational understanding, right? If I just lay down and do the same things that were done or act the same way, then I'm just keeping that generational curse going. So for everyone, just challenge yourself to step up and do something differently. You ain't got to be a hero. You ain't got to be nothing, but just be someone of a good source, someone of a good energy, and everything's going to come to you. You ain't got to jump off of a plane or off a building, but just try to better yourself. And once you better yourself, right, without you even trying to better other people, you're doing that automatically. And with my page, every time I post, I put prayers behind it. I put intention behind it. If I could say one thing to help you guys out, if you guys have pages and brands, and I'm sure you do, right? Write down your intentions behind it. So Inspire the Great was Hustle the Great before it was Inspire the Great. It was a page about Nipsey Hussle, his interviews, his lyrics, and how he spoke greatness into his people, right? So I was at 2,800 followers, and I wrote my intentions down. I said, God, I'm doing this for this reason. I'm putting this energy, this frequency, this purity, this perspective into it, and I want this out of it, right? I wrote my intentions August 31st, 2018, when I changed the page from Hustle the Great to Inspire the Great, right? Y'all, 1 month later, I gained 10,000 followers. All because of the power of intention. If you're doing something without intention, it can't land anywhere because you never gave it
I'm,
anywhere to
I'm just
land.
sitting. I'm sorry. I'm just
This
kind of sitting here, just like speechless. You know, I'm just in awe, basically. But go ahead.
So I wrote the intentions down August 31st. A month later, it gained 10,000 followers. I went to 13,000 from 2,800 to 13,000 followers. From there on, it continued happening because the first year I never put my ego in it. Till this day, I never put my ego in it. But especially the first year, I never even showed
Mm,
my face. I don't care about the number. I don't care about the success. I don't care about anything. All I care is about taking my intentions or making them pure and purifying my
mm-hmm,
soul. So the first year I focused on myself the whole year. What can I do to better myself? The gym, the knowledge, the reprogramming, the love that I'm giving myself. The second year is when I started doing
mm,
Instagram lives. So I can tap with the people, connect with the people. And now is when I started putting the all of it together and doing Instagram live and postings and different things. And this is the going into the second year. And that's the reason why I'm started doing podcasts and
mm-hmm,
interviews. And I have a radio interview coming up and all that stuff because I want to give I want to give people the story and the knowledge so it doesn't die
mm-hmm.
within me. So I say that to say the power of intention is very powerful. Do it for positive reasons. Do it for reasons greater than yourself. If you're just doing it for simple things, you'll get to simple things, but that's all you're gonna get. Now you're blocking your blessings
Okay.
from yourself because you can do it for greater
So
things.
yeah, I want to talk about this. We're an hour in, but I want to talk about a couple more things before we end. So I want to talk about what you said about starting with your kids. So I'm young. I'm 16,
Right,
but I'm thinking about what am I going to teach my kids so that they don't end up
right,
mediocre. What am I going to teach
right,
them? I want to pass down the knowledge that I have. I want to pass down, like you said, generational wealth because I want Nixon to be remembered throughout history. I want that to be remembered, as positivity, as light. You know what I'm saying? I want that to be remembered. I want my kids to be
right,
remembered. I just want to be remembered throughout history. And like you said about it starts with the kids. It really starts with the kids. Like you gotta instill, certain principles into your kids. Yeah, you gotta
greatness.
you gotta you gotta name them right. It's this thing called
Right,
etymology, like you said, it's the original meaning of words. And I want to break down my name
right,
real quick. So my name is Just, meaning righteous or right or just.
mm,
In, well, Justin means justice or right. Nix or
right,
Nix in is wait, no, I'm sorry. My first middle name is the will. Um, Grant is to grant someone something, and Nixon
right,
is derived from Nicholas, which means victory. So it basically means a righteous desire to protect the will or grant the victory of the people. And I'm like, hold on.
mm,
I told my father about this. This is when I first got on my journey and learned about spirituality and stuff like that. And I was like, hold on, this makes perfect sense because I've always kind of been like this.
right,
And now that I'm really on it, I'm like, hold on. I was named this, but y'all didn't know that I was supposed to. Y'all named me this, but y'all didn't know that
right.
this what my name meant. Y'all just named it because my dad was named that and my grandfather and all that. And I'm like, hold on. The universe.
See, sorry to interrupt you. It takes one person to go out of the way and
Mm,
find that out, and they know how much that changes in the family tree.
mm,
It's crazy because they didn't even know, but you being so young, it took you to understand it because it was meant for you to understand it.
mm,
I'm gonna give it right back to you, but shortly I'm gonna say what my name is. So Zachariah is my full name. Zackriya,
mm,
right? It means God has remembered.
mm,
My name means God has remembered, and it also means purity.
mm,
So when you understand who you are and where you come from, nothing else can distract you because you have a greater goal than just yourself.
mm.
So sorry to interrupt you, Justin. Go ahead.
Now you're good, but it's all in your name. Like I really suggest everyone do the etymology on your name because it's power in your name. And I did the etymology on all of my family members' names, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, like this is exactly how their life is, or this is
Right.
exactly how their personality is. Like
Right.
with your life path number, like I have a life path number of 1, and 1 is like independent, creative, driven, passionate, stuff like that. Like I have number 1, and I'm like, hold on, that's how my personality is. I'm a Virgo. I have the Virgo traits, and I'm like, I'm just starting to get into astrology and stuff like that. But I believe that you are literally placed on this planet for a certain reason. You may be a reincarnate or whatever, but you are placed and named accordingly. Even though your parents may not know it, you are named and placed in a certain situation, for various reasons. And I believe I was placed here to do something great, not just for myself, but for the world in general. Well, it's not a general thought, but the world.
Right. And being East African, we have 2 names. So we're actually given 2 names. If I tell you guys my other name, it'll be crazy. So my other name is Muhammad Ali. That in itself is different. That in itself is powerful. So my second name is Muhammad Ali. So my first name is Zachy Ali. My second one is Muhammad Ali. Muhammad being the boxer. That in itself has greater blessings and guidance and direction. Jalil, go ahead, close it off, my brother. Man, it was great talking to you guys. I appreciate you guys.
It was amazing talking to you, bro. For real,
right.
This
is definitely not going to be the last time, by the way.
Yeah, I'm just speechless. Like my spirit is at peace and it's in receive mode, and I'm just like the power from both of you. It's motivating me to want to change something and want to do something. It's like 2 things. It's like stop one thing, but start another thing. And that's where the shift is. And so just from this, like I'm just shifting, and I'm just, I'm just so appreciative and I'm thankful. And my name is Jalil. That means servant of the great, to be reverend and all that. And when I actually figured out what it meant, that's when I started walking in it. Before I was kind of unsure about a few things. I always was second guessing my identity. But once I realized who I was and who I belonged to, God, I started walking in my calling. And now I believe that all of us have found our purpose, and it's being yet discovered, even more defined, and we're walking in it. And that's ultimately where we want to be, and we want all the viewers to be, where you're not just about resources, you're not just about the money and how much you can make, but you're actually flowing in the reason why you were even created. And that's where the true power is, because you'll see yourself do something effortlessly, and it won't even be like, oh man, I'm trying so hard and it's not working, because this is what you were put here for. And it's just so amazing that Inspire the Great, you tapped into that, and you're changing so many lives, even people that you don't even see, touch, or feel, just in the same way through your clothing line. And people need to, this is really the beginning, and that's the funny part. It's
just the beginning.
It's the beginning. Like what God has in store for you guys, it will blow your mind. Like whatever you can think or see, God wants to supersede that, to do more than you can think or ask, exceedingly abundantly above that. Above all that you can ask or think. In the same way where you were talking about, you're ending generational curses. That means by default that you are starting generational blessings. And a lot of people don't hear about the blessings. We just hear about, oh yeah, that's a curse. That's a curse. But what we're doing, we're starting generational blessings that generations to come will thank us, that our children's children will thank us. And so it's just great. It's positive, The topic was the power of positive thinking, and I hope that our viewers have been able to tap into something that can shift any negative thought or vibration into something positive. Even if it was just one thing, then our goal was met.
Right. If I can say, for children who are younger, for kids, for adults, even us, right? Justin, you've been going to school. They sit you down for 6 hours a day, right? Jalil, listen to how powerful this is, right? Now, the last about 10 minutes, I've been walking around in my room. The little walking, the little motion that we do creates a different frequency in our body than sitting does. They sit kids down for 6 hours in school because they want to kill that energy. Simple things as moving the body, moving the mind, making the mind think is what changes our frequency and our mood.
Wow.
Yeah. To say, man, let's go ahead.
Yeah, I could do this all day, but we
Right.
definitely got to bring you back on for real.
Nah,
It's a
100%,
whole
man.
lot of
Yo,
stuff I
I'm
want to
I'm
talk about.
literally. Let me tell you guys. Let me give you guys a perspective of how much I fucking respect you guys.
Mhm.
Right? I'm 15 minutes away from work.
Mm-hmm.
I literally did this last minute. I'm down there for 15 minutes till I start work. I can't even get off the phone with you guys because that's how powerful the conversation is. So I say that to say, man, we have a lot to talk about. We'll definitely do this again. But
Was
if you
definitely.
guys feel down, if you guys don't feel as happy as you need to, God is so powerful that all you have to do is stand up, inhale through your nose, breathe out through your mouth slowly, and just rewire your moving. That's
Mm.
it.
That's
You
it.
ain't gotta do extras and nothing. Just breathe. Breathing is the most
Before
powerful connection to the
Mm.
universe.
you're breathing in the life, you're breathing in life force. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Like we have so much potential and we don't even try to understand. And my last thing that I'm gonna say that I wanted to say earlier when Justin was talking about connecting with the people and kind of inspiring them, motivating them, right? Justin, as a young man who's been through what you've been through and everything, what I can tell you is nobody can be inspired until they want to help themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can be inspired until they align themselves. So all you can do is put that energy out. Me, Jalil, and everyone who's aligned is gonna connect with it, and when whoever is meant to connect with it will. That's the only job we need
Right.
to do. So,
Now
so
I'm gonna say, go ahead and say. I'm gonna say two things
all
after
right,
you
I'm
go.
gonna I'm gonna finish it off. So just put it out there like you're supposed to, and you did your job. There was a girl that I was
Mm.
talking to, that I was inspiring, coaching, and consulting. Right? I spoke to her 6 months before, and it didn't connect with her. Can you believe 6 months after she came back and she said it hit me? That's the power of giving people time.
Mm.
That's the power of letting
Mm-hmm.
people grow. Because like I think Jalil was saying earlier, people can only it'll hit them when it's supposed to. There's a time that you grow, and there's a
Mm.
time of understanding. There's a time of
Mhm.
everything. Everything has a season for it. So if I spoke to you like 2 years ago, you might not even understand the depth of this conversation. But the fact that we're talking
Mm.
now, you're meant to understand.
Yeah. So yeah. So, all right. So I got two things to say.
All right.
So you can put something out there. You can put your message out there, but it's gonna hit who it's supposed
Right.
to hit, and it's gonna hit them at a
Right.
certain time. The time when they needed it. And the last thing I want to say is I want to bring up the Michael Jackson song "Man
Mm.
in the Mirror." So, so, so Michael said, you know, to make a change, basically, you got to look at yourself and make that. You got to look at yourself in the mirror and make the change. It starts with you. Like I said, like I always try to say, no one man can change the world.
Mm.
It starts with you, and then if everyone else just started to work on themselves, the world
Right.
will become a
Mhm.
better place. But it starts with you.
Right. Everybody is looking outside because everybody thinks that's where success, that's where happiness, that's where
Mm-hmm.
change is.
Yeah.
Change is within yourself. God can take
Mm-hmm.
care of that. God doesn't. We tend to forget that a lot.
Yeah.
Like, so I fly 4 times a month, right?
Mhm.
As I'm gonna finish it off like this. As you go higher, as you fly higher, everything on the floor gets so small. And that's how small we are compared to the universe and God, right?
Right.
It doesn't need us. Look at what's happening right now. We're all in our homes, and everything is running smoothly, way more beautiful
Mm-hmm.
than it's ever been. The skies are more beautiful, the waters, the fishes are out, the animals. I seen a fox in the middle of the city just running around. Like, it's crazy because the animals used to be locked down. Now we're locked down and the animals are watching us in our homes.
Mhm.
Mm.
That's the power of God, man. We just gotta align ourselves and tap into a different frequency. With that being said, I appreciate you guys, man. I hope greatness, success, and victory for you guys.
Yes.
We're definitely gonna do this again, continue doing it, and we
Same.
gonna get to levels that we never thought we would.
I'm gonna give you a virtual dap.
Yes.
Yes,
I,
sir.
I I appreciate you
Yes.
so much for coming on. We got to do this
And
again
this is the
because
reason why I
you know
went
what I'm
out of
saying.
my way, man. Justin messaged me, and I'm like, bro, I'm like, this kid's young. I looked at his page. I'm like, if this kid is doing it like this,
Right.
I gotta support, and that's what it's about, man.
Right.
it's about like just because I have it doesn't mean it only stays with me because I can only have it for as long as God allows it.
Yes. Come on.
Just because I have a little following doesn't mean that I'm shit.
Right.
So I don't look at it from that perspective. 76,000 followers is cool. But even more cooler than that is having brothers and sisters that are aligned.
Yes.
Even more cooler than that is having a group of people that are inspired. Tomorrow, the 76 can be deleted, but I could tap in with my brothers.
Right.
I can call my brothers and have this podcast and have things with them. So don't just because God blessed you with something, don't ruin it for yourself by blocking more blessings. Don't think that you only have it for yourself. God gave it to you so you can share it. God gave it to you so you can align with other people. It opens more doors than you're closing for yourself. So message me. I'm like, yo, off top, I gotta do it. No matter what, I gotta do it because what you're doing at 16 years old isn't Jalil can tell you isn't regular stuff, man.
Right.
So if we can have kids like you starting at the age that you're starting, we're gonna stop a lot of depression, a lot of suicidal thoughts, a lot of stuff. So that's what it's about. And the reason why I do that is so later on when my kids grow up, that energy, that karma can come back to them and somebody can inspire them and be there for them too, as much as I am too.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is like an amazing discussion.
Different.
You know, 3 like-minded guys. Just it's very different, and I believe it's going to be very, very valuable to people, and there's going to be a lot of participation because the whole thing with this, the whole mission really was to get people to come on and have a discussion. And I really want to just have a discussion about what's going on in society and how we can make a difference and hence make motivated to make a difference. And I really wanted to bring on teenagers because, teenagers feel like they don't have a voice. They feel like they don't have any respect. And, we adults, I'm not going to say we, I'm going to try myself, but adults tend to undermine children a lot. And I see it all the time. They undermine them like they don't know anything. But it's a lot of kids that really do.
100%.
They really do know something and they do have an opinion, but they don't have anywhere to go to vent basically. And this is a platform that I really want to give them the opportunity to speak on what they got to speak on. Like I don't care if you got 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers, or 5.
It don't matter.
Or 5. If you're willing to contribute to a respectful, productive conversation, you can come on. Like I don't care. I just want to have a respectful, productive conversation about what's going on and how we can make a difference in it. That's all I want to do, and that's all that should be doing. That's all. And
that's what you're doing, man. And I appreciate both you guys for doing that, man. It's definitely amazing. My son is 3 years old. Amir is 3 years old, and he talks and acts like a grown man because that's how I treated him.
Wow.
I never did the little baby stuff. I never spoke baby into him. Ever since he was even 1 month old, I told him my schedule. Daddy works 21 days. I'm gonna fly this flight. I'm gonna come back this time. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. We're gonna have family. I love you. Like he understood all of that, and now until this day he understands my schedule when I'm coming home and everything. So I agree with you, Justin. A lot of times we baby the young kids thinking they're babies, but they're grown. They're full grown. They understand everything, and that's the reason why I don't argue, fight around my kids because they know everything. I don't make it seem like they really see everything. What do you mean? If Amir sees me even hugging his mom, and he thinks it's a bad thing, he'll start fighting me. And he's 3 years old. How does a 3-year-old know the difference between a hug and a fight? So they know everything. We just think they don't know everything. With that being said, peace and blessings to everyone, man. I hope everyone is good. I hope everyone is safe through this quarantine. And more than anything, stay prayed up. Keep your faith strong, man. And we're going to get through this. For people that don't understand, we need crises for us to understand certain things and for us to even go deeper into our inner and also make things a lot better on the outer too.
You got to go through it to get through it.
Yeah,
definitely. So yeah, thank you again. You know what I'm saying? I hope you have a good day, good rest of your day. Stay aligned, stay inspiring people. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I wrote, for real.
Blessings. Jalil, Justin, very nice meeting you guys, and we definitely going to do this again.
Most definitely. We're going to get you back on here.
Blessings. Real. Have a good day, guys.
Okay, thanks. You too. All right.
You too.
Right, blessings.
All right. Yo.
Okay.
I might have finished, but...